Okay, well, thank you, Corey, for that lovely introduction. Okay, so yes, this is my third time to come speak at Speak, and like Arun said, it's a very addicting. I think the microphone is very addictive. So, first of all, just like Christmas, don't expect too much. Okay. My story tonight is basically a mashup of my family time at Christmas. And it's called Christmas with the Chans. That's my name, Sandy Chan. Okay. So growing up, Christmas with the Chans is like an impromptu speech where my parents really had no idea what this Christian tradition was really all about. So a lot of the time it was made up on the spot. And so my brothers and sisters would watch a lot of TV shows to get an idea of what this Christmas really involved. But the thing was, Christmas time in New Zealand is summer, and a lot of the programs that we watched were set in the winter time. So there was really no winter wonderland happening around where we were. But so we had to create our own winter wonderland. So our friends and our neighbors would send us Christmas cards every year, and we would string them up along the living room. But as far as decorations go, that was it. That was really what we did to make the house look festive. And because my parents thought that decorations were frivolous. So the idea of like putting a wreath on the front door or hanging stockings along the mantle was ridiculous. And as well as putting milk and cookies out for Santa Claus. To them, that was absurd. And so my parents killed the idea of Santa from an early age. All right? So for most parents, they wait until their kids learn that Santa's made up for commercial reasons. But for me, Santa was like make-believe character. We wanted to create our own Christmas just like our friends and our neighbors did by having a tree. And so we didn't have a Christmas tree, but there was one outside the house that was this was skinny, it was like silvery, so we thought, why don't we just decorate this tree? So we got outside and we made some decorations, and I can tell you that there's a lot you can do with toilet paper, you know. So you can make snowflakes out of them and things like that. So what we did was we got outside and we made our own Christmas decorations. And then one of us said, but the Christmas tree needs to be inside the house. So what we did was it wasn't really a tree, it was more like a plant. So we picked it up, we uprooted it from the ground, and we dragged it into the living room, right next to the television. And my mum walks into the living room, and you should have seen the horror on her face. And there was mud strewn all across the carpet. So you can imagine the telling off that we got. So once again, our Christmas dreams had been crushed. But Christmas means presents, doesn't it? Christmas means presents. And we didn't have a lot of we didn't really exchange gifts, and our parents didn't give us money to go and buy gifts for each other. So what we did was we decided to go around the house and find something, wrap it up, and give it to each other for Christmas. Because we're still partaking in this Christmas gift tradition. And so that was one thing that we did, but I think we got the idea from our mother, who is the most prolific re-gifter I can think of. My mother would take the gifts that we would get from our visitors, relatives, and she would just basically give it to the next visitor. So she would probably rewrap it and just give it to the next visitor. And I actually found out that 49% of women do this. So actually, it's not that embarrassing. Okay? It's only when it comes back to you that it is, right? So it was but the story of presents go on, because one year we had to Secret Santa at our school. I was about 11 years old. I had no idea what Secret Santa was. So I had like drawn the name of a girl in the class, and I knew that she was a big fan of Hanson. You know, the boy band Hanson. Oh yes, I know you loved Hanson too. So I was a big fan. It was a girl. She was a big fan of Taylor, and I didn't have. It was like the gift was you had a budget of $5, and I was like, my parents are not going to give me $5 to go and get like a classmate a present. So I thought, well, you know what? I'm a big fan of Hanson. I've got some magazines and some books that I think I know, and there was one book, a Hanson book, that I think I flipped through once. It's barely read. So basically I rewrapped it, I just wrapped it up, and I put it under the tree along with the rest of the gifts that the students had brought. And then I found out that all the students were laughing at me. And I thought, what's wrong? The wrapping paper is, you know, around the present, you know, everything looks the same. And they were laughing at me because you're not supposed to write on the label who it's from. So I had no idea what Secret Santa was, right? So, well, I guess I knew now. Oh, secret, okay. But that was quickly forgotten about because another guy in the class had given another student a box of rocks for his Secret Santa gift. But he spent his $5 on the box. So, and I thought, well, you know what, that's actually quite clever. I thought it was quite a laugh. Okay. So, Christmas was a time that my aunt and uncle would come around and visit. They didn't really come around to visit much, but they made an effort at Christmas time. And we always look forward to their visit because they gave us real presents. Because my parents weren't cheap. I'm just saying that when it comes to giving gifts, they weren't giving us things like PlayStations, or they weren't giving us bicycles or Game Boys. They were giving us practical gifts. For example, notebooks and stationery, okay? So we were getting these kinds of presents. So we never expected too much from our parents, but we always look forward to our aunt and uncle's presents. And they were very generous with their gifts. And one year we got a cricket set. And because it's summertime, you know, and we played a lot of cricket, so that was one thing that we could do. And it's one of the great things about living in a country where there's a backyard. And also it's great when you have a big family because everybody can play together. It was really fun. So they were giving us presents like cricket sets, and they were giving us books and you know, toys that we really wanted. But my cousins would come around to our house. They weren't getting things like cricket sets or toys. They were given towels. So while we were like rejoicing over the presents that our aunt and uncle gave us, my cousins, I can't say the same about their expectations from my parents' gifts. So, so they say that, you know, every family has a wild or quite eccentric, you know, member, and that would have to be my uncle, who would come in ho-ho-hoing and smoking in a Santa suit, okay? But, you know, but that's why I like Christmas, okay? Because you get to meet all sorts of people, and everybody has their own, like, brings their own character into the, you know, into the festivities. So things like decorations and presents, yeah, they make up Christmas, but food, I think, is universal. Like, it doesn't matter what holiday it is, there's always going to be good food around. But we didn't have, growing up, we didn't have barbecues, and we didn't have a ham or a turkey. But it was the one time of the year that my dad would come into the kitchen and cook a roast pork belly. And he's a bit of a perfectionist compared to my mother, so guaranteed it was always, you know, it was always a really good food. But I think I prefer a roast, you know, compared to summer salads, for example, like soggy coleslaw or, you know, like a cold potato salad. No, so I always look forward to the roast. I haven't actually spent Christmas at home for over 5 years. So this will be my 6th Christmas, not in New Zealand. So I always, and so when I moved away from home, I realized that was the time my parents put a lot more effort into Christmas. So now they have the barbecue, they have my sister cooking turkey, she makes the stuffing and she makes a pavlova. Now, last year, my brother brought his non-Chinese girlfriend to our house for Christmas. And my sister had made a massive pavlova. And so my sister cuts the girlfriend a slice and she gives it to her. And then I was told, my mum whispers into my sister's ear, "Don't give her any more. She didn't bring anything to the house." So, here's a tip for all of you visiting Chinese people's homes at Christmas. Bring something or you don't get seconds, okay? This is a very useful tip for all of you. Even though I haven't actually had time to spend Christmas at home for quite a while now, the fundamentals, are there. Like even in Hong Kong where I've celebrated Christmas, you have good food, good friends, and good fun. And so as long as you have all those elements, you're always guaranteed very Merry Christmas. So, Merry Christmas to everyone.